Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. So as you know, I've been playing a whole lot of my Unholy Death Knight, Bajheeroth, and even though I'm a tremendous noob at it, some of you guys are still asking me for like some, I don't know, some Death Knight basics and some things that have helped me learn how to play the class at a very basic level, and I'm happy to share that with you. So this isn't going to be as in-depth as I've been doing with my warrior guides at least, but I'm happy to show you some of the macros that I've been using. Now there are a lot of them. I have macros that put me into a presence, and I cast Horn of Winter with that. I have a blood tap and a death coil macro. This makes it so that I use my blood taps whenever they're active. I don't think this is necessarily the best thing to do for like high level play, but for me, I just want to make sure I'm using my blood taps, and that's one of the ways I do that. Like I said, this is very basic stuff, so I'm like sort of I'm offering myself a few crutches to learn how to play effectively. So I don't have to focus on like the minor things. I can really focus on sort of the bigger aspects of playing a Death Knight. So this is a conversion macro. Hopefully you guys can see all this in its high enough quality, so I can just throw it up there and have that be that. But if not, it's a slash cast conversion, and I'm also using a health stone, just like a heal. But I think I'm going to be using Death Pact more than a conversion now. It just seems a lot stronger in threes. So what you do for this one is just a pretty simple raise dead and cast Death Pact. Asphyxiate, I'm using, oh yeah, I guess I can show you my spec. Well, I don't know, this is all disorganized, but I'm just gonna go through these macros, I guess. This is my focus is Asphyxiate, pretty standard, just show tooltip Asphyxiate, slash cast, target equals focus, Asphyxiate. Same thing for Death Grip, but I also have a Chains of Ice on there, so when I Death Grip somebody in, if I want to Chains of Ice them as well, I can just press the same key. Hello. People like to say hello, which is nice. So here's my focus leap and focus gnaw macro. That'll make my pet charge at them, and then can you guys hear my baby cat?
Stella, come here.
So this will charge at them, and I think it's only when you have your big pet, it'll actually interrupt their cast. But since it's a gnaw macro as well, you can still, if you spam it hard enough and your pet's not in a Nova or something like that, your pet can make it to them with the leap, and then they'll stun the next heal or whatever. So it's a really nice CC to use. This is Focus Mind Freeze, just like a Focus Pummel thing like you have on your warrior. Now a lot of these macros, these are just abilities, but I also have start attack, start my attack, and pet attack in there, because I have my pet on passive all the time, so he doesn't just run off and do whatever he wants to do. So I have him. I have lots of pet attack macros. This is more for Frost. It just puts me in my presence and casts Horn of Winter. This would be the DK one-shot macro. It just pops pretty much all of my cooldowns that I could ever want in one button. Except for, I do still have Empower Rune Weapon on its own button, because I don't necessarily always want to get my runes refreshed when I'm just trying to maybe use Necrotic Strikes. Here's a Lichborn macro. What this will do is this will put you into Lichborn, and then it will throw Death Coils at yourself to heal yourself. And it's also a good idea to maybe have like a target equals pet Death Coil. That's not a macro I have right now, but I probably need one because it helps enrage your pet a little bit faster. This is the one button, the Blood DK tanking macro. I also have a pet follow key, because in case my pet is like off attacking something and I don't really want him to, so I'll go send him off to attack that thing, and then if I don't actually want him to, just press that and he'll come right back. So that'll let you, if you ever, your pet's just off in the middle of nowhere but he's still alive beating somebody up, and you want him to come back and hang out with you, that's what it'll do. So this is this is my normal leap and gnaw, except I think I need to mess with this a little bit so that it's more efficient, because right now I have gnaw, because sometimes if you try to leap at them and they're like right within your range and they won't actually leap. So I have gnaw first, but I don't think it works quite the way I want it to. This is Plague Strike. Plague Strike is the same thing as this Festering Strike. It just starts your pet attack. It tells your pet attack. Tells your pet to attack the same thing that you're doing. And then this is Unholy Presence. I try to have it cast Raise Dead, but I don't think it actually works, so I'll just take that out. I have Raise Dead on a completely separate key anyway. This is another Blood macro. And now I have some other macros over here. Yeah, like I have Focus Dark Sim. Like these are just focus macros. Like the only really macros that like are kind of weird, I guess, might be Lichborn, maybe your one-shot macro, but you just kind of get all your keybinds together. That's probably, oh yeah, and maybe Death Pact, I don't know. All these macros are pretty straightforward, but they're definitely useful for learning how to play a Death Knight. And so those are the macros that I've got. And my basic approach to playing a Death Knight is I'm probably, most of the time in 3s, I am chilling in Blood Presence. Make sure you got a pet out in the beginning of the arena. And people have told me, I don't know if this is a troll or not, but if you pull your pet out while you're in Blood Presence, it has more health. So what I generally do is if I can grip somebody behind a pillar, I'll start off with a Death Grip, but most of the time I just run in. I have my mouse, I have my Naga set in the wrong setting. There we go, I was playing League. So, you Chains of Ice them, Plague Strike. Now, if there's people around, you can Blood Boil, but people have always told me to get like 2 Festering Strikes up, but it costs a Blood Rune, so maybe you only get 1 Festering Strike up. And then at that point, you know, throw some of these Scourge Strikes in there. But what you're really shooting for is converting these runes. So every time you use a rune, it comes back, unless it's an Unholy rune, I believe, it comes back as a Death rune. And then you use those Death runes to Necrotic Strike. So in terms of a perfect optimal rotation, I don't really have one of those. People do tell me that it's a good idea to run in there and get 2 Festering Strikes off, which will get you 2 Death runes, and then you can stack Necrotic Strikes, pop all your cooldowns, like your one-shot macro, so you've got your Unholy Frenzy, your Summon Gargoyle, and all your damage that you can put into somebody. Do like that. But a lot of times what I'll end up doing is I'll run in there, Chains of Ice, Plague Strike, spread the dots around, and I'll try to Necrotic off of that. That's generally a pretty good idea. So, like I said, I'm not like an expert on this, but this is at least what I've been doing. If people want to know what I'm up to, that's what I do. So. Once you get your dots rolling, you want to have this, you know, healer or another caster you feel like controlling on focus. You can, a lot of things, I mean, what I like to do a lot, this won't actually work, I don't think, because it won't allow me to Death Grip to target enemies. But I will, like, focus Death Grip a healer in, and then Blood Boil, get the dots on the healer. And then you can switch off to them, Chains of Ice the healer, deal damage to them, but that's the basic idea. You do have a lot of interrupts. You can use you can use your Pet Leap, Pet Stun your focus target. So you see he just got stunned there. So he's controlling that guy. Meanwhile, I'm beating up on his DPS. After he gets out of that stun, you can throw him a Death Grip, bring him in. As he's trying to run away, you can, you know, he's in range. You have a Chains of Ice on him. You can easily hop over and focus kick him if he tries to kick right in your face. If he does make it all the way back there, you can always throw a focus asphyxiate on him. You've got lots of tools at your disposal to really lock down a healer. And I think I'll have time in this video. I think I can show you some of my very first 2v2 matches that I ever did on my Death Knight, just to show you the kind of things that, you know, what the combat looks like, even at like a very basic level. I also did a lot of 3s. We're actually at 1750 in 3s right now, which is pretty funny. Just because that was the first time I ever played Death Knight. But yep, the basic idea, I'll just review it just once again, just to have it hopefully be more clear. Is you want to go in, Chains of Ice, get your dots up. If people are around, spread them. Get a Festering Strike up, and then I'll probably just hit whatever buttons are available. Like, honestly, I'll throw off Death Coils, just whatever I can. It becomes a little bit like whack-a-mole for me. This is not, you know, optimum DK rotation. This is Turbo Noob Death Knight 101 for you guys who have who, you know, just want to know the very basics of what the hell is this Bajheera guy thinking when he's playing Death Knight. This is what I'm thinking. Just trying to spread my dots as much as possible. Use my CCs to be effective as much as possible. You know, you can always use your focus asphyxiate on a healer, and pet stun the DPS, whatever. You've got so many stuns, so much stuff at your disposal. It's awesome. But that's pretty much what I'm thinking. And I think I'm going to show you a few 2s matches where I put some of these things into action. So hopefully, as I continue to learn a Death Knight, I will continue to share with you more and more helpful information. But for right now, those are the very basics of what I'm thinking. Just run in there, get your dots up, make sure that you're using any blood or frost runes that pop up, so you can convert those into death runes and use those for more necrotic strikes, which are a huge aspect to building your pressure. So I'm going to show you some 2s matches. Thanks for putting up with my noobery, and I hope you enjoy the matches. Peace! Alright, so in this first match, it's going to be up against a Resto Shaman Arms Warrior, which is a comp I play a lot of my Arms Warriors, so I was already pretty concerned. But my general strategy here is I'm probably going to look to open up on the Warrior, but since I am an Unholy Death Knight, swapping to healers is always a really strong and fun idea for me, so I'm keeping an eye on this Shaman. I think I Death Grip the Warrior in, but that was just not a good idea. I see the Warrior popping all his cooldowns and Blade Storming, so what you could do here is you could move your pet out of the way so it doesn't get cleaved down, but I just opt to answer his cooldowns with cooldowns of my own. And now here's where I'm going to look to swap to the shaman. Unfortunately, I have this terrible habit of being a little too hopeful with my Soul Reapers, and I just apply it right off the bat instead of trying to Necrotic Strike. So I'll probably have to change my keybind there, but I've got my Gargoyle out. I am trying to apply some Necrotic Strikes. All this haste is really, really nice. See the shaman trying to run away, so I'm going to try to grip him even more out into the open. Continue to apply these Necrotic Strikes. I have used my pet stun already, so I don't really have a whole lot of CC left for him, except I am able to kick the end of this healing wave. I do have a Soul Reaper up on him. It's probably not going to tick, but I see the warrior charge back into me, so I'm going to take that opportunity to reapply my dots with a Blood Boil. I'm going to hop back, get this guy in an Asphyxiate, keeping my Soul Reaper up the entire time. Just like I said, probably not the best idea, but I'm going to keep using all the interrupts I can through his Aura Mastery, trying to apply more and more Necrotics, really not letting him get any heals at all. This is very nice because the warrior is trying to go kill my my druid at this point, but leaving his shaman alone with me is going to be kind of a rough decision. So I'm going to try to kill this Spiritling Totem before the warrior gets in. I do. The Healing Tide is just going to have to do what it's going to do. I mean, I'm not going to kill the Healing Tide right now because I'm playing my Death Knight. I'm tunneling too hard, really trying to focus. Like, I remember these arenas more than anything. I was just like looking at my action bar, trying to determine when I had the new abilities to use, what sort of CCs I had. I think I might try to steal his Hex. Stealing a Hex would have been a really, really good idea, but I guess he doesn't even try to cast it, or he tries to cast it in the Druid's Tree form. But mainly all I'm going to do here, once I've applied pressure to the Shaman, I'm having way too much fun just tunneling into this guy to do anything else but that, especially when it's so effective, because I just feel like as a Death Knight, I've got so many interrupts and so many ways I can prevent this Shaman from getting any healing off with my Necrotic Striking and my consistent dot damage. I could have thrown like a Focus Chains of Ice onto the warrior, that would have been nice. Could have Death Gripped him off, but I was really saving my Death Grips for that Shaman, all the interrupting. But yeah, these are like, I'm literally showing you my first like ever twos matches as healer DPS on my Death Knight. So I mean, there's a lot of learning to take place, and just like anything, I think this is going to be a fun little adventure to see me improve over time on my Death Knight. At least I hope I will improve over time on my Death Knight, but I'm not afraid and not embarrassed to show you my very, very first arenas and share that fun with you guys. So that was the first pretty good match we had as Resto Shaman Arms Warrior. Now I'm not going to show you every single team that we fought, because I mean I think we went 11-4 actually, which isn't a bad record, but some of the games are really, really long, and I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm just going to go over some of the nicer matches that I think I played well in and did a good job, like establishing a huge Unholy Death Knight cleave. So this hunter right out of the gate is gonna throw all his pets at me. Well, I don't think this is a full stampede, but I am gonna try to play a little bit back. I don't want to get caught out too far in the open. And as you can see here, I am in Blood Presence because I anticipate taking a good amount of damage, and I don't really want to do that. So I'm gonna sit in Blood Presence. It's gonna limit my rune regen a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm gonna grip the priest. I'm gonna grip the hunter just to change their positioning up, interrupt a couple heals. But I see that the priest might not be watching this pet as well as he should. The pet is LOS of the priest, so they killed my pet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Instead of healing their pet, he's gonna try to mind control. So I end up killing the pet, and that's gonna be a huge advantage to us. But I can't bring my pet out right now, so I've gotta just keep doing my Unholy Deeps without my pet, and no pet, no problem. Without a pet though, just keep in mind you do miss out on quite a bit of damage, and you also miss out on some of your CC with your pet leap and your interrupts and your pet stun. So just keep in mind you do want to have a pet out as Unholy. It is a large portion of your damage and your control. But I am going to switch onto the priest at this point. I'm going to pop cooldowns. I wish my Gargoyle would have listened to me and started hitting the priest, but it actually doesn't. Actually, it doesn't even work out all that badly because it starts cleaving the hunter down while I'm hitting the priest. So it forces a deterrence out of the hunter and forces the priest to have to pay a little bit more attention to healing his hunter other than himself, which allows me to just keep the pressure rolling. Now, I wish I would have summoned my pet immediately, but like I said, when I start playing my Unholy Death Knight, I get into just pretty much just either tunnel the healer, tunnel damage mode. I'm gonna AMS this trap. I don't know if it worked or not. I thought it kind of worked like Spell Reflect, but I don't know if the trap actually got consumed even though I walked over it. There it goes. Yeah, it's gone. All right, cool. Or no, it's not. Very, 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 very tricky trap, but luckily I summon my pet, and my pet is, you know, ever willing to sacrifice for his Unholy Master. He takes the trap for me so I can continue doing all my damage to these guys. Now, as you can see, both of their health bars are, you know, around half health. So even though like we're not playing super high rated stuff, like my pet eats another trap. goodness gracious, this guy's a beast. He's trying to keep me able to do all the damage I need. But yeah, look at this cleave that we're establishing on these guys. I'm gripping the priest in to interrupt one heal and get my dots up on him, and I grip him in again. And even though the hunter is really low health, I would really rather just hit the priest. I really like this this unholy cleave action going on from both me and my druid. My druid has Heart of the Wild, so he could probably pop Heart of the Wild and one-shot the hunter whenever he felt like it. But I'm gonna just keep my pressure up on the priest. At some point, I might want to death grip the hunter back in, or if we're gonna run past the hunter, definitely want to make sure I get my dots up on him. But my druid goes Heart of the Wild and wraths him for about 80 or 90k or something like stupid like that. So this was a pretty fun match. We traded pets, and I swapped back and forth between the hunter and priest, establishing a whole lot of pressure, allowing my dots to do their work, and it was a pretty fun game for sure. So this game, we've fought 2 healer DPS teams so far in this video. This game is going to be against a double DPS, and this is really scary because it just puts all of the game is just basically played at a much faster pace, and for me that's kind of scary because, you know, I'm just learning, so not like most of my abilities are in their uses, for me at least, aren't really instinct at this point. It looks like the boomkin gets knocked out, and so I'm gonna start hitting the boomkin immediately. But that's gonna leave my poor druid alone with that rogue. But I'm doing my absolute best to try to keep this boomkin away, hoping that my druid can heal through a rogue. But here's where it gets scary. The boomkin is gonna finally connect, drop a solar beam with a vortex, the classic boomkin combo, and pop all their cooldowns. And my druid is doing an amazing job healing through all of this in tree form. But I still have got to peel better than this. I'm gonna use one of my trinkets on the blind. Meanwhile, my gargoyle is pouring damage into the rogue a little bit, so I want to make sure and get damage up on the rogue. Make sure I have dots on both of these targets so that I can, you know, whittle them down in time to have one of them die before my druid does. Basically all I'm thinking about. I see that the boomkin's trying to run away after my druid, so I'm gonna asphyxiate, stun him, get my dots up on him, grip him back in. Hopefully I blood boil here so I can get the dots on the rogue as well. That's excellent. Now the boomkin's running away here, and it looks like we're in pretty good shape. The boomkin's in just having to run the entire match. I do use my my outbreak to get my dots up on him, but I do see my druid dropping scarily low on health, so I chains device the rogue, which allows my druid just to barely to get away, get my dots back up on the rogue, put a soul reaper up on him, hope for the absolute best, stun him with an asphyxiate with trinkets, then I'm going to double grip him away and score the kill on him. But we're not quite out of the woods yet because the druid does have another vortex beam, so my resto druid is dropping in very low health, as he has been the entire game. But it does look like I've controlled the boomkin enough to let my druid survive and eke out a win against this very scary double DPS team. So that was a pretty intense game. But as you can see, Death Knights have so many tools at their disposal to peel and to CC and to deal damage, and it's just such a fun class to play, especially because you can just run in there and just spam damage on an entire team to an extent. I mean, of course, as I continue to learn Death Knight, I'll have to continue to play more skillfully in order to advance. But right now, I'm having an absolute blast, and I will definitely continue to share my learning experiences with you guys, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace!